guys to Intuitive 717. I do have a message here for the Divine Masculine Collective, maybe just to help assist them here, because I feel a lot of dense energy coming from the masculines, okay? And I'm going to tap into it a little bit because I do feel like there is a lot of energy around their emotions, and they feel drawn to the Divine Feminines at a time where you're unreachable. There's a disconnect between how they relate to you or how they're able to relate to you. I feel like a lot of them, they're feeling like a fish out of water, okay? They are struggling to feel confident in front of you, or I feel like it's maybe trying to meet you where it is you're at. Many of you have been experiencing union energy or physical union, where a lot of your masculines are maybe reaching out to you or reconnecting, or maybe some of you are even being thrown into each other's spaces, realities where you're being forced to interact. And I feel like maybe now that some of you are getting back in touch with one another, a lot of your divine masculines are feeling like you've changed, you've elevated, you're no longer the person you used to be. They somehow feel like you've maybe even elevated above them. Somehow now, all of a sudden, you know, you're out of their league. That's the only way I can put it. It's this energy of feeling out of place in your presence. And they've never had to feel this way before, because I feel like maybe in the past Divine Feminine, you had this deer in the headlights kind of thing when you were around your Divine Masculine. And now that they've reconnected with you, it's a complete shift in energy. You're standing 10 toes down. You're confident. You're exuding a lot of authority over yourself. This strong, confident presence, they're not used to it. I feel like this is someone who is falling all over themselves. They don't know what to do with this energy. They don't know how to approach you. They don't know how to take it to the next level. So we're going to dive into it and see what's developing in their heart space. Let's clear the energy out of the deck, and then I'll cut it in half, and we'll see what's happening with the Divine Masculines. Okay, what feelings are developing? So we have awareness. So this definitely represents this new energy that you're in. Many of you could be like in the public eye. Maybe you've just opened up your business. Maybe many of you could be changing up your image or your look. I just feel like you're exuding a new type of energy. You've grown or you've shifted in some way. A lot of you have probably been through a hell of a lot as well. It's like the universe is taking control in some way. Many of you could have spiritual guides who are literally taking over, stepping in the driver's seat and putting you just into positions that it kind of seems like it's happening overnight. Like many of you are finding that certain projects are getting off the ground, or you're making connections or networking, and you know, new opportunities are presenting themselves, and it feels like, okay, am I ready for this? But no, you're ready. You've been ready. Many of you are finding that just whatever you touch turns to gold type of thing. And this is why a lot of your Divine Masculines feel out of place around you. Again, you used to be the deer in the headlights, and now all of a sudden you're maybe speaking in front of large audiences, or maybe many of you are popping off on social media with just certain things that you have to share. I feel like you've gone through some kind of spiritual awakening, Divine Feminine, and now you have some kind of awareness, and you could be out there spilling tea, like spilling mad tea with your intuition, and you have your masculines shocked. They could literally be tuned in watching you as well from wherever it is they are. I feel like a lot of you have fans as well that you may not be aware of, like many of your masculines community, like a lot of people they know. They may watch you. They may watch you spilling the tea just in general on, you know, ascension or human behavior, or just life and how people are. And I feel like you're coming through as someone with a lot of wisdom. And another thing too I'm getting from your masculines is like the energy around like respect. They have a newfound respect for the authority you hold over yourself. Many of you are letting your spiritual gifts shine. Some of you could even be popping off with your spiritual gifts, showing off a little bit, getting some revenge. Spilling tea, I feel like, on the community. You guys are spilling tea on the community around you, or you're spilling tea on like your masculine and like their community. I don't know, whatever it is, I feel like you're untouchable at this time. And someone from your past, this masculine, you could have grown up with them. right? You could have been, again, I'm going back to this deer in the headlight reference, because I see someone who, like, you've known your masculine for a long time. Like, maybe you grew up with them, maybe, you know, you were younger and they were a lot older, and because I'm seeing somebody who's looking at you and they can't believe how far you've come and how much you've grown and how much you're respected and how much wisdom you carry. Pink could be your favorite color. Red could be your favorite color. A lot of you could wear red lipstick. Maybe that's what's changed about you as well. Like, you know, before you knew you had like a lot of beauty. Like, if you really were to spaz out with a lot of, you know, feminine shit, you could really like make an entire room of people stop what it is they're doing just to look at you. But I feel like a lot of you dull that down for a really long time because like you knew your energy itself was very, very sensitive. Okay, that's why they always saw you as a deer in the headlights, because their energy, like, you could feel it. And many of you in the past, you might have come off as very like shy and introverted and very nervous and just kind of like what's the word I'm looking for, fidgety around people. And people might have always seen you as very like awkward and strange and quiet and keeping to yourself, but little did people know this is what was brewing inside, right? The reason you were like that in the past around people is because you really didn't know how to process other people's energy coming towards you. In the past, many of you would shut down in big crowds because you would literally feel what other people were thinking, what other people were energetically going through. Many of you would come home feeling completely exhausted and tired because little did you know you were carrying the weight of the room that you were in. You were carrying all of the emotional weight in the room that you were in because you were the only ones that could hear what people weren't saying. So for example, you would enter a room and everybody would be like smiling and laughing with one another, and you would literally be there absorbing people going, oh my God, like, when is this going to be over? Oh God, I got to cook dinner for the kids. Or, oh God, great, I got to go home to my wife. She's going to be pissed off again. That's what a lot of you were absorbing. You were absorbing in the room things that people weren't saying. Meanwhile, everybody else is seeing like the smile on their face and the fake laughing and the sipping of the cocktails. But you, when you walk into a room, someone can smile at you and literally you would hear their energy feel like, oh, can't wait to freaking get out of this place. And you would be like, oh, like, I don't like you. Like, and so when people would look at you and you have this disgusted look on your face, it's because you were responding to their inner energy. That's why many of you are labeled weird, introverted, standoffish, like you don't like people, because many of you don't realize that you're actually reacting to what people are feeling, what's going on in their energetic space, their emotional space. So yeah, just a heads up. But now I feel like because many of you know how to protect your energy, a lot of you out there are spilling tea now because you're protected. Your ancestors put you in isolation, put you in solitude, and now many of you are just out there turning the tables on people. Like, I feel like people just really don't recognize who you are. And many people question, like, how the hell did you wake up and like within such a short span of time you're like living this brand new life? And many of you are like, you know, it's called waking up to your purpose. Look at her. She's like, what can I say? It's called living in your purpose. It's called listening to your intuition. So that's where you guys are at. And I feel like it's definitely got this divine masculine really shocked, really surprised, and feeling like, what do I do to catch up with you? What am I going to do with all of these feelings and emotions? Okay, so let's see how they're handling it. As they have an eye on you, and I feel like another message that needs to come out is somebody pays very close attention and they hold on to your words, Divine Feminine, whoever you are. They hold on to your words. They see you as just so different, a whole new person. I feel like a lot of your Divine Masculines may be going through an inner transformation as well, because it's like, how are they going to approach you now? They can't approach you in the same way. Okay, if they can't, because, you know, remember, you're no longer the deer in the headlights here. You're poised, you're well-spoken, you might speak your mind, you might speak your truth. Okay, someone is treading lightly. He could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. He doesn't have to be, but it is coming up here. Okay, what else do we have? How else are they feeling with the shift? We do have contracts, career, commitments here coming up until debt tear us apart. This could be stuff that you're spilling the tea about as well, Divine Feminine. Many of you could be taking your careers very seriously. You're committed to your career. You're no longer concerned with this contract with your divine masculine. Many of you are focused on building up yourself, your money. Your independence means a lot to you. A lot of you with Saturn's energy as well, you really know how to alchemize a lot of bad shit that ends up happening to you. Like when you get tested, you use that as fuel. And this is exactly why many of you might have your masculines tippy-toeing around you. You have like an air sign here who is definitely thinking very, very carefully. You see how they're holding the throat area there? They're thinking very, very carefully about what it is to say to you. Now you have somebody feeling like they need to polish up their words or their approach, or, you know, I feel like what's happening as well, Divine Feminine, is like you've exuded so much self-love and you've created something so big for yourself that you've definitely earned the respect of your Divine Masculine. And I feel like regardless, like now you've used your past, whatever's happened to you in the past, the way that you were, I feel like you could have even had people making a mockery of like just how weird you are. Maybe a lot of you were loners. I mean, the transformation is just unreal with some of you out there in the collective, in the Divine Feminine energy. And I feel like a lot of you have a whole flock of people. It could be through this whole experience of meeting somebody else, a masculine energy, getting kind of caught up in like their crowd, their community, like all eyes on you type of thing. Like, who is this person, this Divine Feminine? And people would have looked at you in the past and been like, oh, she's a weirdo. Like, this person isn't surrounded by a lot of people. Very superficial people judging you as well because of the isolation that many of you had gone through, because they didn't know shit about spiritual awakening. That's why many of you can feel like you didn't ask for a lot of this spiritual gifts and a lot of the tea that you guys have to spill. You have to spill it, otherwise you'll go crazy, right? Like you didn't ask to be chosen to have all of this information inputted into you while you sleep, or, you know, while you're relaxing. All of a sudden many of you will get an epiphany, and it's to help a whole collective of people. A lot of people in your community, in your Divine Masculine's community, they had no idea that this is what you were preparing for a lot of you. They even mocked you once upon a time in your solitude, in your isolation, when towers were falling in your life and things were being taken from you. People were laughing at that. People were celebrating your misfortune, Divine Feminine. And I feel like for some of you, if like your Divine Masculines were caught up in karmic situations as well, like at one point they joined the karmics and laughing at you and maybe even wishing for your downfall, but never, never, okay? Because this wasn't a downfall that you were going through. The universe was literally preparing you, snatching people out of your life because they didn't belong there, including your counterpart, because many of you had to see this whole journey with your Divine Masculine as a spiritual assignment rather than some kind of relationship for you to get caught up in, right? And many of you did receive that epiphany that this is a spiritual assignment, okay? Divine Masculine, don't call him Divine Masculine then. Call him whatever you gotta call him. Just know that you're on a divine mission. And many of you were like, aye, aye. Okay, so now you have somebody that's wanting to, you know, come towards you in a more respectable manner. Take this mask off, okay? Express a lot more truth. When somebody comes and talks to you, they're not going to know how to conduct themselves. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you're going to be running into people from your past. And a lot of you may have already experienced this, but like the new you will have people trying to avoid you, like at the supermarket. They'll see you and they'll be like, oh shit. And they'll try to run in the other direction because, believe me, they've had their eye on you and they've been watching your success, and they do not want to have a conversation with you about what it is you're doing or been doing or whatever the case is, because, oh, they know what you've been doing. They've been watching you, okay? I feel like if a lot of you live in the same city, town as your Divine Masculine, they're so nervous that they're going to run into you. They're so nervous that people in their community, like, they're nervous to run into you as well, Divine Feminine, because I do feel like for a lot of you with this card here, awareness, you guys are definitely like out there in the public eye. And with this teapot here, you're definitely spilling tea. And look at him recording with the camera, right? A lot of you have fans out there who are watching you use the gifts that you were building in your isolation to now enlighten or to give insights. The same people that were mocking you are now tuned into you and don't miss a beat because you're assisting a collective of people somehow. And many of you need to know, like, your counterpart here, the person that's supposed to be on assignment with you, they now want to see your notes. Okay? They're sorry that they showed up late to class. They now want to see your notes, where you've been, what you've been doing. And I feel like a lot of you are maybe leaving them out in the dust to kind of do it on their own. This is what they were doing. You know why they were out in this energy? Because when you have spiritual gifts, that's the difference, right? Introvert and extrovert. That's why it says external. I feel like a lot of your divine masculines, when twin flames meet and that eye contact and that spark goes off, they both feel like they need to do something big and larger than life, okay? Usually it'll be the divine masculines first because, like with the phallic energy, they're more like outwards, more action oriented, where the divine feminines will feel the need to like close off and isolate and go inward because you're receiving information. For them, they literally feel like their veins on fire, okay? Most of them will usually go through some kind of transformation where they want to look good and they want to be like invincible and they want to go to the gym and work out. And believe me, they do it because once twin flames meet and that spark goes off, they get the adrenaline, the kundalini feeling of like that adrenaline rush. You can do anything you put your mind to. You just have to follow through and do it. So a lot of your divine masculines, they felt that magic. They really, really did. And they were wondering, like, why aren't you doing anything with the magic? You must not be my divine feminine then, because look at you in that cave over there, like, looking all worn down. But many of you divine feminines were getting your ass spiritually kicked, okay? Because that's what happens with initiation, with spiritual initiation. That's why a lot of you had to go through stuff like sleep paralysis and, you know, the vivid dreaming and all of these things, because you were literally being prepared to fight spiritual warfare. Right? A lot of them didn't realize that. The reason you were looking like that is because in your dream state and in your state when you were between like waking up and just before bed, you guys were literally going face to face with the darkness and letting the darkness know, like, I'm ready to roll. Like, let's go. I'm ready to roll. I'm not afraid. So now is like the big turn of the table where somebody literally took their gifts and they exhausted it. Okay? Remember, you guys are flames. So divine feminine, your flame was just like very small and you took the time to nurture it. And I feel like with a lot of your divine masculines, that flame was like blazing and they literally like, you know, tore shit down, but they exhausted themselves because they didn't actually take time to learn how to like carry such heavy energy. So now I feel like a lot of them are just like, how do I get to you to help me balance this shit? Because I need my chi back. I need my energy back because I chose to go and squander all of that magic and it got me into a lot of karmic trouble, okay? And you decided to isolate and here you are now blossoming and popping off and you know, giving all of this divine knowledge and wisdom, and it's returning to you in the form of pentacles and fulfillment and mission work. So I feel like where they are now is humbling themselves, wanting to experience profound change in some way, and have the courage to really just take action and balance out all the damage that they've done. Okay, all eyes are literally on you, divine feminine. I feel like it's not only your divine masculines, but it's like a whole flock of people coming towards you now to find out, like, how do I live in this truth? How do I express myself in this way and find fulfillment through my spiritual gifts? How? Now everybody wants to know from the loner, right? Now everybody wants to know from the loner what to do. Well, you're no longer the loner, divine feminine. Okay, you become like a leader in a sense here. Okay, so yeah, all eyes on you. You've definitely turned the tables and you're turning it up. All right, divine feminine, so that's my message here. I love you guys. Take it easy. You know where to find me if you'd like to connect for a personal session. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next reading. All right, take it easy, guys. Bye.